Hey guys, Gradysmom here with volume 6 of my cooking series. This recipe is called egg roll in a bowl. It is a very low carb recipe and it's super delicious. You can make this for dinner. However, when I make this as of lately, I've been making it a big batch of it and then I portion it out for some lunch options for myself while my son is at school. So again, very low carb, super easy, and this is a really delicious one. So pretty much it tastes like an egg roll except minus the egg roll wrapper. And what you're gonna need for this is some sausage. It doesn't have to be this exact kind. You can get like the link sausages, but you'll just have to remove the casing and then take the meat out. So you're gonna wanna do a pork sausage. You're gonna need some shredded carrot. You can just use obviously whole carrots and shred them yourself. You're gonna need cabbage. Now, a trick that I have found to making this a lot easier is to get the coleslaw mix, which is just shredded green cabbage, a little bit of purple cabbage, and a teeny tiny bit of carrot in there, but mainly it is the green cabbage. The reason I like to use this as a shortcut is cutting off a head of regular green cabbage is a little bit time consuming and it takes a while because, as you know, cabbage, it's, a big, huge, hard, round ball, and to get it in this consistency does take a little bit. So I have found using the coleslaw mix, it not only saves time, and this is very inexpensive as well. So if you can get the coleslaw mix, I would go ahead and get that. I just got this at Walmart. You're gonna need some green onions that look like this. And then for the sauce, you're gonna need soy sauce. Low sodium soy sauce is fine as well. You're gonna need some sesame oil, some rice vinegar, some sesame seeds. However, these are optional, but if you have them, I do like to use them. They add a nice touch. Some garlic. You can use fresh garlic cloves or the kind in the jar like I have here. And then you're also going to need some fresh ginger. This is the ginger stir-in paste. You can also use a fresh ginger root and just grate that. And that is everything you're going to need to get all the flavors of an egg roll minus the wrapper. So first I'm going to go ahead and get this sausage browning up and I'll show you how easy this comes together. Okay guys, so I have my sausage that I am browning. You're gonna wanna use your spoon and break up the crumbles to smaller pieces because you don't want huge chunks in here. It doesn't have to be baby fine, but you're just gonna wanna kind of move it around and break it up. So I am doing that right now. And then I'm also going to make the sauce while this is cooking. Okay, so my sausage is all browned up. I'm gonna go ahead now and make the sauce for this, which is where all the flavor is. So first I'm getting in my measuring cup here. I'm gonna do a half a cup of soy sauce. Again, guys, you can use low sodium if you prefer that. That's perfectly fine. I actually buy low sodium sometimes myself if I remember to. So I'm just measuring out a half a cup in my measuring cup. And this is a great recipe that I like to eat for lunches because I really get sick of sandwiches and leftovers. Okay, so I have my half cup of soy sauce. Okay, next we are going to do the sesame oil. And I like to use about 1.5 teaspoons. So I've got one and then just a little drop. So that's about, give or take, about 1.5 teaspoons. Okay, next up I have my rice vinegar, which we are also going to do 1.5 teaspoons of, give or take. There's 1.5, give or take. Okay, next we are going to do the garlic. And the garlic I'm going to do 2 teaspoons. I love garlic, so my teaspoons tend to be a little bit heaping. And if you're using fresh garlic, you're going to want to use about 4 cloves, chopped up really fine. I just love this garlic in a jar, though. It's just, to me, it's just so convenient. Okay, and then I'm going to do also some ginger. For this, I'm going to eyeball it, but you're going to want about 1.5 teaspoons. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I've made this recipe a lot. And actually, I've made this exact recipe and then put it inside egg roll wrappers. Just gonna kind of stir it gently because this would be the same filling that you would use if you were making egg rolls as well. Just actually gonna use the back flat part of my spoon to kind of sort of mash that garlic, because since it was in the squeezable form, you want it to get all dissolved, even though once it hits the heat, it will dissolve. But I just like to sort of get a little bit of a head start and mash that a little bit. Okay, so that is all the seeds that I need, or all the seeds, all the sauce that I need, everything to make the sauce. So that looks pretty good. So I'm gonna set this aside for here. And now I'm going to grab my cabbage and carrot, and I'm going to get that into the skillet. Okay guys, so as you can see, the sausage is all browned up. So I'm going to go ahead now and get my cabbage back into the hot pan. This is a 1 pound bag of cabbage. Now it is going to look like a lot of cabbage, but cabbage will wilt down to about half of this, seriously. So I'm just going to put that on, sort of lay it down flat. And then there is a little bit of carrot running through this mix, as you guys can see. So I'm not going to add that much more carrot. If you're using just a shredded cabbage mix without carrot in it, you're going to want to use a full cup of shredded carrot. But since mine already has a little bit of carrot in there, I'm going to use about that much, which I'm going to say eyeball-wise is a little bit over a half cup, give or take. Okay? So you're going to want to lay it down flat. You can hear it starting to sizzle. I have it on high. And then we're going to take that sauce that we made right here. We're going to pour that all over the top of this. Okay? And you can really hear that sizzle now. I'm just going to make sure I get all the garlic and everything out of this bowl. So now we want to make sure it's all combined. So we're going to bring the bottom up very gently. And again, this cabbage is not going to stay like this. It's going to wilt down and cook down and get nice and juicy and moist and yummy. So again, we have our heat on high for now because we want everything to sort of blend together with that heat. So I'm just trying to make sure it's all coated. And a little bit of moisture is going to come off that cabbage as well as it cooks. So that's going to also help for this to not dry out. It smells so good already. I started making this recipe about 15 years ago. And I used to make it a lot with egg, like I'd buy the egg roll wrappers, the Nasoya brand egg roll wrappers. And I would cook this all just the same, and then I would put it in those wrappers. I used to actually have a deep fryer. I do not know to this day whatever happened to that deep fryer. Probably in one of my many moves when I was in my 20s. It just got lost or left behind. But I used to put this filling in the egg roll wrappers and then throw them in the deep fryer. They were so good. And then dip them in duck sauce. So, so good. And growing up, I actually did not eat a lot of Asian food because I was adopted and my mom's Italian. So I grew up pretty much eating Italian food probably at least 4 to 5 days of the week when I was a child. I grew up eating a ton of pasta, homemade meatballs, and lots of Italian food. So I really didn't eat a lot of Asian food growing up, except when we would like go out to dinner or get takeout or something, but I've always loved Asian food. So as you can see, guys, it's already starting to wilt down. So that's it. We are going to just going to make sure this is sort of all even now, meaning it's going to cook evenly, so I don't want any huge lumps. I'm going to try to sort of even it out the best that I can. Okay. And now I'm going to grab the lid to this skillet. I'm going to put the lid on. I'm going to turn the heat down because if you leave it on high, it's too high. So I'm going to put it on medium. And I'm going to let this just do its thing on its own for about 5 to 7 minutes take the cover off, give it another stir, and put the cover back on for another 5 to 7 minutes, because overall you want this to cook with the top on for roughly about 12 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to do that, and I will show you guys how it looks after those 12 to 15 minutes have gone by. Okay guys, so about 12 to 15 minutes have gone by, and I did give it a stir halfway through, and it's absolutely delicious. I don't know if you can see just from this angle how much that cabbage just wilted right down and kind of combined all into the meat and the sauce. A couple tips I want to give you. If you're making this for a dinner or for lunch actually, and you want to stretch this dish further, if you don't want to do the egg roll option where you're rolling this filling into an egg roll wrapper, an option to stretch this dish would be to make some steamed rice, brown or white rice on the side, and then lay down in your bowl some rice and then this on top sort of as the topping on the rice. That's a good tip if you want to stretch this meal. Not that this meal doesn't make a lot, because as you can see, this is easily enough, in my opinion, to feed a normal family of 4. And for me, I'm going to be using this for my lunches. So I have some Tupperware here set up. These are just regular, sort of 1 portion Tupperwares. I'm going to fill those up with this. And I'm also going to go ahead now and plate up a bowl of this that I'm going to actually eat right now, because since it's nice and hot and fresh, why not? So I'm going to go ahead and get a nice bowl of this for myself. And I have my green onions set up here that I have all chopped up, so I'm going to go ahead and put the green onions on top. Now, the reason why I don't put the green onions into this when it's cooking is, for one, they lose their color, but the main reason is with these type of onions, these green onions that just look like this, they tend, in my opinion, to get a little bit bitter when you cook them. I don't know why that is, but I've just found from so many years of cooking and experimenting, this type of onion is just not that great when it's cooked. I prefer it just as a garnish on top. It keeps its flavor, its color, and it gives a nice little oniony crunch on the top, and I just always have liked that element of a little garnish like that. So I also have my sesame seeds, which I'm going to go ahead. I love sesame seeds, so I'm going to go all out. You don't have to use the sesame seeds, but I think they look pretty. And again, they just add that little kind of extra something, just maybe like the little wow factor, because we all eat with our eyes. It is true, we all do it. So if something looks good, we're more likely to want to eat it. So I'm gonna dig into this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get the rest of my filling here, my dish here, into my 4 Tupperwares. So there's pretty much option for 4, for 5 if you count this one, lunches for my week. Now, chances are I probably won't want to eat the same thing 5 days in a row, which I can't blame anybody for not wanting to do that. But my point is, this is great, even if you're a working mom, to grab a Tupperware of this and bring it to work. Also, I'm probably going to give my husband a couple portions of this. So chances are I'll have 2 for me and then 2 for my husband, and then I'll get to enjoy this one now. So again, a really nice recipe to make, to take with you, very portable in a Tupperware. And also, this is a great dinner option as well. And it's super juicy and just so delicious, and it literally just tastes like everything great about what's in an egg roll without the carbs or the fat from frying that egg roll wrapper. So I hope you guys enjoyed volume 6, the egg roll in a bowl. Have a great day, and as always, all the instructions and ingredients will be typed up in the description box. Have a great day, guys!